Oh boy, we're cooking, guys. We're cooking. We're cooking. Oh boy. Oh boy. We got some stuff to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. I'm gonna be eating my lunch because I was literally in the I actually had to cancel a meeting here. I worked out. I had a coaching session. I was getting Spilo 2 prepped and answering messages, and then this son of a gun dropped. And I have a coaching session at 5, and I had to cancel a meeting to do this. But we gotta talk. We gotta talk. No, we're not going to fearmonger. There's actually a lot to talk about here that's like not necessarily all bad either. It's going to get seriously juicy. No, I didn't do anything with my hair. I just got out of the shower, so it's all wet. That's what. Tap, thanks for the sub. All right, let's get cooking, guys. Let's get cooking. Okay, so here's why we're here. I'm not just here to make content and that kind of stuff. I always like to do this on stream because you guys give me discussion points and give me ideas that I wouldn't otherwise come up with. Because I'm going to make a video tonight recording my full thoughts on all the patches, all the details, all the things that we need to be discussing and things that we need to know for tomorrow. The new stuff, not the dev blog stuff, the stuff that we already talked about. The reason I like doing it on stream is not just because content, but most importantly, you guys actually provide stuff that I otherwise wouldn't really think about and give me criticisms of the things that I'm thinking about. So I need you guys here. So here's what we need to do. Look at my structure here, okay? Look at this is what I want to do. All right? New stuff. In other words, the new things like the Junkertown. I know it's not brand new, but we didn't talk about it. The Junkertown rework. Couple other things we'll get through as well. And then meta predictions. And that won't be near exactly what you guys think. Trust me. This one will be a little bit different than you guys expect. And then we're going to go through the hero list. And this is going to be by far the most exhaustive and probably the most important discussion that we have, where we go over literally every single hero, what we need to know, what's going to change tomorrow. Not just the changes, but the changes to the environment around that character changing overall. Let me give you guys an example. Mei's Freeze did not get buffed. Her Mouse 1, her primary fire did not get buffed that I saw. I might have missed it, but it did not get buffed. That is really important because that is an aimless mechanic that did not get buffed. So does that change when and where you use that? Does that make using that freeze a lot less attractive? You kind of see what I'm saying? Another one is Life Weaver. Life Weaver did not get any significant buffs, and raw healing is not going to be as much value as like hitting your shots. is that going to mean that Life Weaver is really bad, or is it going to be so much easier to actually do damage with the character to where his damage output is actually decent, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of things that we have to, like, it's not even necessarily going to be like, this is absolutely going to be the case. These are going to be like a lot of really important questions about each character. So if you play this character tomorrow, what do you need to know? What do you need to know? Yeah. So let's go through this. Let's focus on the new stuff here. Event stuff, nothing really crazy there. Skill rank reset. All players in role queue and open queue have been reset to unranked. Placements have been built from the ground up. This is all stuff that we already know. Check this out. Check this out, guys. Wait, where is it? Check this out. Versus screen. Look. The range of ranks. Wait, where the frig to go? The range of ranks is now displayed on the screen where both teams, I know this was talked about at BlizzCon, but now it's confirmed. So let's put this up. Versus screen with range of ranks, player icons, etc. shown now. This is confirmed new. Bronze through Diamond players may group within 2 skill tiers, group within 1 skill tier, Grandmasters 3 skill tiers. Wait. Division and tier. GM1 and GM4. Or GM2. Or 3, excuse me. Divisions, tiers, grouping. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But GM can 5 stack. Yeah. Tier is the number. Division is, or no, tier is not the number. Tier is the bronze, silver, gold, platinum. Division is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they just include GM5 stack and so on. Yeah, okay. I guess it's just more along the lines that this is like the first time we've actually had like a very clear, objective thing to know exactly what to expect moving forward. Points. This is stuff that we've talked about. Nothing super crazy. Zelly, thanks for the sub. At the start of this season only, the internal matchmaking rank for also been adjusted to push players close to the normalized average. Matchmaking ranks have been decayed. The higher rank, the more it's been decayed. Most players will start at a low. So placement, higher ranks decay more. Most will start lower. Yeah, so the grouping restriction changes are not coming soon. Yeah. I don't know that I wouldn't say it's a MMR reset so much as like a soft reset. I keep hearing the word soft reset from the Blizzard developers. I spoke with the guy, Gavin Winter. I spoke with Gavin Winter. I had to double check to make sure it wasn't NDA. And he's like, no, we talked about it in BlizzCon, you're good. And he said that this is going to be more of a soft reset. And he also said, yeah, I should actually talk about that.
I want to thank you because I'm finally out of plat. I am gold now. Thank you, my king. I'm joking, ha.
Thanks for the sub, Christian. Screw you, man. Congratulations on the gold. Well done. You're now very average. Yes! You suck! Boom! Okay, too many, GM1, bronze 5. Yes, you can queue with Spyro Doofus. Yes. Okay. Competitive challenges removed. Yeah, it's pushing everyone towards gold 3. Okay. Visual upgrades. Don't care as much about these. Some of the endorsement changes, I'm sure more people will be interested, but I'm just not. If you're following my channel, you're not going to care as much about that. Thank you for the bits, by the way.
Probably soft reset BC. It
Yes.
fixes any system overconfidence.
I was
without
told
screwing
word
up
for
ranked
word, because remember you
games.
guys, I was mauling about having a soft reset with new changes. And Gavin told me, he's like, it's because too many people in Bronze 5 and GM1. So we needed we needed to fix the discrepancy to be more like statistically smooth numbers wise. There are too many people in Bronze 5 and GM1. That's what I was told by the guy who's doing the freaking thing. So I should hope there's yeah. Frick! Okay, crosshair updates. I guess that's worth putting out there as well, just because it's kind of interesting. Yeah, crosshair updates for what floats your boat. Okay, so we need to. I need to get the. Wait a second. Somebody sent me a frickin' thing. I don't know how accurate this is, but somebody sent me this. Jolly?
Thanks to Spillo, I went from a hard stuck plat sombra / tracer 2 trick to now a major locked masters shitter.
Well, congratulations on that. Thank you for the sub, Jolly. I don't know how true this is. Let me actually pull up another projectile. Wait. Yeah, this is another one to kind of look at here. Something like this. And then something like this as well, which we talked about. So we've already gone over all the projectile changes. We won't go over like anything crazy. I mean, even this here, I don't think is 100% accurate. So maybe we'll just do with this. Yeah. Okay. 150 increase, yada yada. Increase by 15 and 25% health. And this is the crucial thing here, guys. Like, this is the crucial thing. You're gonna notice in a couple of these. Where did we go? Where did we go? Hello? Where'd we go? You're going to notice that some people's damage has been increased by more than 15 or 25%. So, yeah, we'll have to kind of wait and see here. Ult cost increased. More health. We should probably make this smaller. I'll make that like there. Easier to do damage. Can we do testing after the update? Yeah, I mean, that's why we're here. What we're trying to do here is so that tomorrow when the patch goes live, we don't have to like sit here and guess. We can actually like get our predictions here. All heroes now regenerate, blah, 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 blah. Now reduces the delay before regeneration and so on. We talked about this already. This we did not talk about. Quick melee increase from 30 to 40. Quick melee change. This is pretty big. Because this is the kind of change here that it doesn't seem like a big deal, but listen carefully. This is a 33% increase when every character in the game is getting a 15 to 25% increase. You get what I'm saying? Characters that utilize melee just got buffed more. It's also massive for Winston as well.
I don't need this tip. Prediction, tank regen will not do anything BC their big HP pool and hitbox.
I'm honestly not sure. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, this is big. Is it a massive, unbelievable, crucial change? No, but it is significant here. A lot of people were worried that melee would be left behind and said melee has been disproportionately buffed to a higher number. So melee now, you're going to have a better combo, and we have a lot to get to. Yeah, it's thinking about like what are the characters that are going to benefit from melee? This is something that we're going to continue. Now, don't overthink this one right now. We're going to get to the hero list in just a second. But yeah, definitely on the list here. Junkertown rework. Was there anything else here at the bottom? I think there's probably some bug fixes that we'll talk about maybe. Wall climb failing. Ooh. Wall climb failing bug. Which I don't know how much of that is just versus we suck, but that's actually pretty cool. But yeah, Junkertown TLDR, you guys can read all the changes here. But basically, there's a nighttime Junkertown. And a lot of stuff they're trying to address the first point and then retaking second and third point stuff. Okay, let's get to the juice here. Let's get to the juice. Let's just do this alphabetically or by the list of the thing. Let's not just jump around here. D.Va, pilot health increased, mech armor increased. Self-destruct. Destruct. Radius changes. Gets armor. What else do we need to know here? What do you guys think about this take? Is D.Va gonna benefit from these projectile increases that much? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like her damage is actually gonna feel pretty bad. Questions about benefiting from these changes damage-wise may not be good. Easier to... Yeah, that's true. Maybe easier to matrix stuff. That's true. New Junkertown here. That's cool. Yeah, there's the new building and the new water tower that they talked about. Yeah, okay, so I guess, yeah, then that's the real question here. Yeah, so I guess the question is going to be, how much are you going to benefit from easier to make stuff? I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. My question is going to be, how impactful is it going to be that you're able to track? Is it going to be maybe easier to crit? I don't know. Like that's my really question. Micro missiles should hit way easier, but are micro missiles falling into this category? Let's actually refresh this and keep the projectile size is pulled up like this here. Probably, yeah, probably. Like this. This has to be in there, right? Don't forget that spread weapons benefit greatly from this. But D.Va's weapon is not really, problem is not really spread. Maybe it will. It's the fall off is hard for her. Yeah. So questions with D.Va. I think that's mostly it with D.Va. No booster boop damage buff. Crucial to note there. So the booster boop combo, a little bit less attractive. Yeah. Okay. Doomfist. No significant punch buff, but no slam buff. I don't like this. I don't think this is a huge buff. This is freaking insanity. You guys see this? 25% damage buff here, and then 33% here. That is massive. From 80 to 115, that's a massive buff. Right? That's like a 43% something percent damage buff. But Slam doesn't get buffed. I would have preferred if they'd taken some of this and shifted into the Slam.
Oh, boy.
Farouk, thanks for the raid.
You know what this is? This is a trash
Isn't that an
can.
adjustment? Yeah, what's the deal with Empowered Punch? Oh, yeah, shoot. No extra overhealth. Isn't Empowered Punch just a multiplication of this, or is it not? Don't think so? Okay, well, we'll put that as a question mark that we'll have to try tomorrow. The punch buff is insane. I think no ult buff as well. Which I guess if you look into Doomfist, Doomfist's ult now, 300 Inner Sphere is still going to one-shot a lot of things, so it didn't necessarily need a huge buff, but crucially, this Outer Sphere is really fallen off. Right? And everybody knows like how punishing that radius is. Last question would be easier to charge punch accidentally because the hitboxes of projectiles are going to be there. Yeah, no, I agree. The slow is the most important part, but it's still a nerf. You know, it's still a nerf. It is objectively a nerf. Like even the chip damage mattered, right? No, the punch size did not increase. They did not buff the aimless aspects of characters. All they did is they increased the damage, which is fine with me. Jungle Queen, health increased from 300 to 375. You guys lied to me. You lied to me. You lied to me. You said Carnage was buffed.
Top 50 Doomop here. Here is my perspective on this. His threshold stays the same while every other tank is hard nerfed. 175 damage Empowered Punch coupled with greater primary hit registration leads to a decent bit more damage during.
Importance of ease of hitting shots. Harder with Doom than other heroes. That's true. He is going to benefit from that. Yeah, so Queen Carnage. No Carnage. Gracie buff. Well, I go Gracie should be buff. Gracie should be buff, right? Yeah. No Carnage buff is huge though. But melee Gracie, is that enough to compensate? See, this is where you can't just look at numbers and be like, addition. Carnage didn't get buffed, so Queen bad. But maybe Junker Queen will benefit more from buff to the projectile disproportionately to the other characters, because being able to hit Gracie 40% more of the time or 30% more of the time is like a disproportionate buff to her than it is with other characters. Like knifing easier to hit might be really big, and she also benefits more from the melee buff than almost any other character. Oh, but that's true. But suffers from DPS passive more. That's true. Because she is more squishy and she relies off of her own self-healing. Rampage DOT is, I mean, that's again a pretty big buff. That's a
more HP also means more bleed heals available at any given point, so you might get more value from throwing knife past
that's true.
Through enemies.
I mean, I imagine it's all forms of healing Zardian, besides maybe the passive. So yeah, JQ is feels like a very volatile character right now. Might be good, might be really bad. Melee and Gracie is the big stuff. Rampage, yeah. Malga. DPS passive, major questions. But huge buff to projectile size. Opens up target priority a lot. This is the thing with Malga. He's going to get screwed by the DPS passive potentially. But he's going to be a sniper. Freaking sniper tank. Freaking sniper tank. And crucially, the cool one downside is that the burn damage isn't buffed here. I don't know how much he does with burn damage right now. Maybe somebody in chat can tell me. But yeah. $15. But yeah, that obviously got nerfed by a little bit because of the HP increase. Anything that's passive damage, that's not aim related, got nerfed, right? We have to kind of keep with that. Also, slam damage nerfed. Because that was not buffed. DOT is overall better now, though? I mean, is it? How? In what way? His ult is nerfed. How is it nerfed? Yeah, but how is it nerfed indirectly? Because you're shooting the shield. What's up, Guardy? Thanks for the sub, mate.
Ripash reload time.
Is there going to be a video for this later? Yeah, that's what we're working on right now. This is the video right now. Well, no, this isn't the video right now, but this is what we're working on. So, yeah. Yeah. Orisa. Laser Orisa with fall off change plus projectile change. Harpoon not buffed. Gained armor. Javelin spin and damage or size. Javelin spin. Huge ult nerf. What do you guys think? Am I missing anything here? Yeah, apparently, yeah. I from what we know from the developers, that anything that a DPS does through turrets or anything applies to the thing. Why ult nerf? Because they didn't scale up the damage. The big thing with the ult nerf is that it got to is like if it takes an extra half a second to be able to one-shot a target, then that target's going to escape a lot of the time. Oh, I see what you're saying, Teach. Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of these tanks feel very volatile. I could really see it going either way. I could see Laser Orisa plus 75 armor being broken. But I could also see it being terrible. I think that these tank changes could be really volatile, you know? I don't know. It's hard to say. Ryan. 25 more armor plus health. That's obviously, anything that gets armor is good. Hammer, increase damage 85 to 100, which actually isn't all that much. Not in proportion to the amount of HP that's gained. It's decent. It's decent, but it's not insane. I think it's pretty balanced, actually. Right. No fire strike buff. Very strange. I think this is a big oversight, to be honest with you guys. I think the Rocket Hammer buff is pretty, like, that's good. That matches the amount of HP that we're getting pretty much. No shatter buff either. Also, no clarification on pin miss 50 damage. Remember when you miss a pin, does 50 damage, right? We don't know if it's still going to be 50 damage, which that's another nerf too. I think Fire Strike should be a 2-shot, frankly, guys. Like I don't have any problem with Fire Strike getting hit with 2 Fire Strikes and you dying. I just think that like I think Fire Strike is one of the most honest like projectiles in the game. I think it should be 125 damage. I agree. Ryan is healthy for the game, even in lower ranks, even though he's one of the healthier tanks. He's the best brawl tank, I think, in the game. Heard him and JQ. I think Shatter, Fire Strike, all this kind of stuff. 225 to 275 is fine. Again, that's going to be fine. It's going to one-shot all the characters that you want to one-shot. If they don't want to one-shot Mei and Reaper, okay, then that's fine. That's okay. Yeah. Nothing else I don't think really matters here. To me, I think this is probably the most boring tank change where I don't think he's going to be really good and I don't think he's going to be really bad. It's just going to be, he's just still Reinhardt. You know, maybe he's slightly worse, honestly, because of the Fire Strike. This is a big Fire Strike nerf. I think it'll be slightly worse, honestly. Brad, thank you for the sub. I do think this will be a nerf. Oh, I skipped Ramattra. Whoops. We'll go back to Ramattra. Sorry. Okay, Ram is so forgettable, man. Health increase. Health from 200 to... This is definitely, he's not getting a lot more survivability, which is fine. He doesn't really need it. Big question around Omnic. This is where you really got to start asking yourself, how long have these changes been under the in the works? Because I've been a big whiny baby about Omnic form. Is this them doing the things that I'm asking for, but doing it in a global way? Are pro players screaming the changes? Not that I know of. Huge nerf to Nemesis and ult as well. So maybe I don't know. Maybe these are the kind of things that were under the works, and that they just wanted to like toy and see how they go before they did any like changes to RAM. Just like actually see how things go. I'm not sure. But yeah, definitely shifts. This has to be a major shift into his Omnic form, like a major shift into his Omnic form, especially in combination with the recent stuff with now that he has armor and the damage is higher. Huge. I mean, interesting. Really interesting. This is why, like, I want to give the developers the benefit of the doubt with this, because could it mean that RAM's really bad? Could be RAM's broken? Yeah, but it's actually a lot of these pivots aren't necessarily unhealthy for the game. Like Malga. This feels like Malga might be trash, but the fact that he's a little bit more sniper oriented is kind of what we wanted, right? Like, isn't that what we wanted? Maybe it's not always perfect. Like the Ryan stuff is off, but like some of these changes are not bad. I don't know how it's going to work out in an actual game, but the theory, the philosophy is interesting there. RAM benefits heavy. Yes. Yeah. 100%. Okay, let's keep going here. Roadhog. Health increase, major. DPS passive. No buff to trap. Will it be easier to headshot center of shot? Obviously, the answer is yes, but how much easier? How much easier? So no buff to trap damage, which is fine by me. Still one shot? That's the question to me. That's the question to me. What is trap damage again? What is trap damage again? So like 70 or something? 80? No way it's 120. I'm saying like the burst, you know? Yeah, 60. So you get like 70, 80 damage generally. I'm not sure. Potentially. Yeah, so I think Hog will be nerfed, to be honest with you. The one shot is definitely almost, if the one shot's even there, 100% dependable on the trap. The big question for me is like the mid range. How is this buff to his gun going to feel? I think that's going to make his mid range damage feel a lot better. Because I was a big enemy of the changes they did to his weapon. But the poke is still technically there if you can hit it. It's weird. So there's still a chance that the poke will be okay. But total, oh yeah, true. His heal total percentage has dropped, right? So he has still the same amount of vape that he can do. His vape is not a percentage of his HP, it's a raw number. Yeah, true about the melee. Good point on the melee. So we'll have to wait and see. The big thing for Hog is how much easier is his primary fire going to be to land? Because that to me is probably the most important thing to ask. In terms of the buff, and the nerf is going to be how hard is the DPS passive going to hurt him? Can I be honest, guys? Can I be honest? I'm going to do probably respectfully. If you're a Roadhog player, frick you. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Frick you. Frick that character. You see that? Frick you. Frick. Sorry, guys. I hate to do that, but frick you. I have zero qualms with saying that your character deserves to be bad. I have more patience for Malga players than I do for Roadhog, because Malga, when he was broken, is just even worse than Roadhog, yes. But there is potential there, right? For Sniper, and the slam is fine. There is no potential for Roadhog. Frick you, man. Roadhog is such an absolute dumpster fire. And you know what I realized is he's played so freaking much too. It's actually unreal. Freaking hate that character. You don't deserve to be meta in your current state. Biggest rework flop of Overwatch 2's career. Frick you, man. Terrible character for the game. You know, and again, you know what this does? This makes me wonder, like, they must have known that this DPS passive was coming, and they kind of let I wonder if they're just like letting Roadhog, like, I don't know. Okay, Sigma. Shields increase from 200 to 275. Accretion is not accretion damage, not buffed, but primary fire, huge buff. Because we talk about one of the hardest mechanics in the game is Sigma primary fire. One of the hardest primary fires in the game is Sigma primary fire. So is that going to be a lot easier to land? The accretion nerf is kind of sucky. Oh, yeah. Flux damage on lift up, no buff. It's 50, I believe, right? Melee big for him? Not really. I mean, yeah, it's okay, but it's not big, I don't think. Flux is 50 damage and then 50%. So the percent doesn't matter, obviously. Although, you know, if you think about it, guys, let me cook. Percentage damage got a huge buff here. And are there any percentage damages in the game besides Flux? But Flux percentage buffed relative. EMP, yes, EMP, that's true. EMP, not Echo Beam. Echo Beam still does a certain amount of DPS below a certain threshold, but EMP for sure. It's just EMP and Flux. Yeah. So, yeah, for sure. So EMP and Flux get indirect buffs as well. Yeah, anyway. Okay, EMP with DPS passive is going to be wild. Ooh, true, actually. Anything else with Sigma? Not really. Not really. Not really. Okay, Winston. Melee buff, huge. Okay, Winston actually is cooking. Get ready for this one, guys. 50 more armor, which is huge. 25% more DPS from primary fire, which is huge. Let's put it this way. That's on the higher end of the health increases that we've seen. You guys get what I'm saying? We've seen anywhere from like 15 to 25% increased HP. So Winston's primary fire versus the targets that got 15% more increased HP is going to feel a lot better, which is generally going to be a lot of the tanks. But I mean, this is going to be a buff for most characters, and it still ignores armor, right? So for squishies, it's not going to be that huge, but 50 more armor, and crucially, melee got buffed, which melee is disproportionately more useful versus squishies as well. Better versus non-squishies because they got 25 more HP, but yeah. Also, yeah. Primal buffed. Melee big buff. But, oh no, chat, I just realized something. No landing damage. Ah, no. Oh, no. So he's going to be pretty much the same. Yeah, because this is only a 25% increase. And then if landing damage stays the same, I think the ult's going to feel a little bit worse. Also, no alt fire buff either. Oh no, chat. I the more I think about it, the worse it gets. No! Oh yeah, dude. Also, no primal health buff. No! I mean, this isn't going to be like life or death, really, but we were hoping that initially I was kind of excited, but now I'm thinking. So we go from like slight buff to where I think this is actually maybe a slight nerf. Now, you guys have to understand, we're going to talk about this at the end. This is all in a vacuum. This is not the overarching changes that we're not considering may indirectly push Winston, but the character itself is not as strong. I don't know. Well, let's actually find out, chat. Let's actually find out. Winston Overwatch. Well, the bubble doesn't need to be increased because bubbles are not hard to shoot. Anything that's easy to shoot doesn't necessarily need its HP increase, which means Primal Rage doesn't necessarily need to be buffed by a ton. No, yeah, see, it's plus 500 max health, but that's disproportionately going to be less because he's going to be what? 550. Wait, am I losing something? Health increased from 225? What? Winston didn't have 400 health. Am I missing something here? Yeah, open queue numbers. Weird. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that just makes it more confusing. Why would they do it in open queue numbers? I don't understand. but I assume it's going to be 625 HP, so 1125, right? But still, you would want this to be like plus 5, plus 600 HP at least. Yeah. So kind of a bummer. Kind of falls into that Reinhardt category where some stuff is exciting, but a lot of it's just like, oh, why did that get skipped? You know what I'm saying? Like losing alt fire is such a big deal. That's going to make it, actually, that's probably worth pointing out. Changes to burst combo, less attractive alt fire, less important to land on target. Yeah. It doesn't say. This is what the wiki says, so maybe the wiki's wrong, but I don't know. Yeah, I got you. Okay, so Winston remain is a big question mark. This one is, I mean, this one has to be. Now let's let them cook a second. Again, I'm going to be a little bit of a Blizzard advocate here because I want to play double. Because the easy thing is that yes, but does he disproportionately benefit from the shooting changes? Is he less impacted by the DPS passive than other tanks? Yes. Is there some sort of overarching change here? Like when these, again, this doesn't happen in a vacuum. A lot of changes happen at the same time. Maybe in internal testing, this character, just because of something that we weren't thinking through, is, and I'm not smart enough to do that. Nobody is without play testing this. So I'm skeptical, but we need to cook a little first. Let's go try it out. Internal testing, LOL. Yeah. I mean, I'm not disagreeing. I get the cynicism for sure. He did get 75 armor. He does benefit a lot from the new shots, and the DPS passive is like, you know. He also benefits slightly benefits more from new overall passive. Slightly. I think people are overshooting how much the 20 healing after 5 seconds actually matters to Wrecking Ball, but it's a little bit. He's going to benefit more from it than most tanks, I think. Why do the shots reward him more? Because there's a lot of tanks in here that don't require as much accuracy. Ball requires accuracy, which means that his bullets, if you hit every shot with Wrecking Ball, it's a lot of damage. It's just hard to do. But now it will be a lot easier to do, which means that damage is a lot more attainable, right? Yeah, it's double card healing, yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, card is 10 per second. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, that's true. Melee damage as well. Obviously, the big thing is Slam, Roll, and Mines did not get buffed. So it's a question. Zarya. Primary fire beam width. Pretty big buff.
Just got confirmation that they removed Doom's ability to slam very far by combining with Punch. That is
familiar with that
actually
tech.
a very huge nerf. It's in the bug fixes.
I'm not familiar with that tech. Fix the bug with Beater Strike. Fix the bug. Sometimes prevents signs from going through. The bug can prevent from requiring overhealth. Some Rocket Punch left a small window of time. This must be it here. Are you sure it's the super slam? Like, you mean like you punch cancel in your slam for extra distance? We'll have to test it. We'll have to test it. Zarya.
You also can't immediately block after punch.
Oh, really? Okay, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Was Zarya alternate fire buffed? The projectile sides? Surely, right? Like this? Probably. Should be. Because as far as rockets make it, then yeah. You guys are talking about like how much easier it is going to be able to beam. I agree that that's kind of a big deal, but she didn't get any buff to her damage. Oh. As Steve said, it's a bug is for the enemy hero getting punched, not Doomfist. Yeah, see, you guys got to calm down your Doomers a little bit. So you're saying it's not even for the Doomfist, it's for the person who gets punched. It isn't? Well, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to say a single word. This is why I don't trust anybody. We will wait. We will wait and see. We will wait and see. Easier to get charged. How so? Bullets are bigger? Oh, I guess, yeah. Easier to accidentally charge. Am I missing anything with Zarya? Pretty simple with her. No damage buff. Easier to track. Questions about alternate fire. Grav slightly nerfed. Can cleanse DPS passive, right? Can cleanse DPS passive. Yes, we do have. I'm pretty sure we have confirmation that was the case. Yeah, we saw that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Ash. Dynamite sustains DPS passive. Ouch. But Dynamite damage not buffed. I guess overall, wait a second. DPS passive impact on tanks. Ease of killing squishies more with bullet size changes. Affect tank mirror attractability. Okay. Dynamite damage, not buffed. Coach gun, not buffed. More time reloading. Big benefitter. Been easier to hit shots, just let's put it that way. Bob, damage, buffed, and gives DPS passive. Will Dynamite be easier to hit? I don't think so. I don't think I don't think explosion stuff necessarily is affected by the projectile changes, right? The shot that explodes the dynamite is yeah. Harder to mess up dynamite explosion. Yeah, the AoE is not affected, but it is easier. That's true. I think the big thing with Ashe is the negative thing is going to be the breakpoints that have totally changed. Healing is decreased for 2 seconds is the word on the street. Maybe I just read that in the patch notes. I don't remember. Yes, Bob counts as applying the passive. It's in the patch? Okay. Can't one-shot Tracer, right? Okay. Bastion. No nade buff. Doesn't benefit from the projectile changes much. Let's zoom out. Especially if shooting tank. Ult not buffed. Big nerf. Oh, that's true. Nade for less damage for movement total HP. So you could use it. It's less punishing to use it for movement. Shooting the tank as Bastion will be stronger? Yeah, yes and no. The DPS passive application is definitely going to be a benefit. That was my initial take. But also, it's already so easy to shoot the tank right now. Now the tank just has more HP and you don't do any more DPS. So it's like, do you really want to shoot the tank when you can actually just shoot squishies significantly easier? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, and I think also the ult nerf is a big deal too. Like, you guys gotta understand that a lot of Bastion's kills with his ults are like a question of like 50 or 60 HP. Really close margins of error. Like, because if you don't get the direct hits are massive. Because cause OW, thanks for the sub. Like, if you get a direct hit, it's a kill. It's an unbelievable amount of damage. I think it's like a 350 or something crazy like that, or maybe more. Actually, it might be like 400. But like, as soon as you immediately get out of that tiny little epicenter, the damage falls off, and you often need like all 2 or 3 shots as it is to secure a kill on a squishy. But 1200, yeah, 550, yeah. Okay, whatever. You guys know what I'm saying. But now it's like the splash. It's like you really like 50 more HP is a big deal. Yeah. Okay. So I think this is a nerf to Bastion. I think because Bastion's mostly used for tank busting. He will do better at shooting squishies now, but I don't know if he's gonna be the thing, the DPS that benefits the most from this. Honestly, I know the projectile size will not increase the Bastion missiles. No. Okay, Cassidy. 50 more HP, which is whatever. Deadeye. Pretty. Honestly, I don't think there's anything crazy here. The Deadeye buff is just more proportional to the amount of HP that's been increased. You know what I'm saying? It's not really that much of a buff. It's just kind of keeps it around the same. Fan the hammer nerf. Because you don't need the aim benefit for Fan the Hammer, really. You're just using it to break shields or break taints, which I'm good for that. Fan the Hammer is such a stupid ability. I don't know why it is even in Overwatch 2. Mag, nade, nerf, less damage. But breakpoints, huge. 2-tap. Or nope, 2-tap is 280. I'm not sure how to feel about Cassidy. Headshot, body shot, yeah. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, I think. I don't know. You guys are, there's a lot of doom and gloom here, but Cassidy will benefit a lot from being able to aim easier. So who knows? Maybe he's bad, maybe not. And I don't trust one pro's opinion either. Monad might be right, but we don't know. Six bullets though? Yeah, but he has roll. You know, like he has that cooldown on a low cooldown that allows for more rapid reloading that other characters don't have. I don't know. Too many variables. Too many variables. Echo could benefit massively from projectile changes. I think Echo could benefit a lot from this. It's odd to me that they're buffing the width of like the beams and stuff, but they're not like buffing the damage. It's interesting. Yeah, that's true. Duplicate HP is pretty much meaningless. It's not a buff. Because it's only, what, like, it's a fifth, right? So it's like 16%, 17%, which is really not that much. You could argue that if you're able to live a little longer because you have slightly more HP, even if you are slightly easier to shoot, if you copy like a tank, you're easy to shoot anyway. Maybe easier to copy tank because hitbox size, not that important. But it's almost meaningless, I think. Okay. Oh yeah, true. Heal passive is nice. That's true. Anything with mobility, I think this will be a really interesting patch to see how big these projectile changes nerf like mobility. Is mobility going to be more viable because you have like a slightly more passive heal, or is it going to be like feel less viable because all your like mobile juke options like blink and stuff like that don't necessarily make you, or like it's still easy to shoot you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, copy gets 350 if you copy a tank. Okay. Genji. I've heard a lot of doom and gloom about Genji. Let's see. Benefits from heal passive, more. Benefits from melee, more.
I don't need this tip.
Genji might be a sleeper winner. Melee damage increase, DPS passive helps him dual supports, projectile size increase helps him land more secondary fire in close range and easier crits in that range.
Right. Good and bad, easier to hit shurikens, but also easier to hit while moving. Blade big question mark. Is speed increase worth? Time to kill increase for sure. Well, no, we don't know that actually at all. I mean, guys, this is huge. This is huge. Right? That's a 22% increase in speed. That means either one or two more chops. I'm not sure exactly how the math is going to break down, but one or two more chops. Oh, yeah, true. No dash damage buff. It will be easier to get value out of deflect because you don't have to aim it as well. I don't know if you can do the combo one shot. I mean, there's a really easy way to find out. So 50 damage, that's 200 damage. 81 per shot. Headshot is 162. No, you can't do the one shot combo anymore. Wait, yes, you can. 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 Dash plus triple headshot plus melee is still one shot. 81 doubled 162 plus melee 202 plus 50 damage dash 252. Well, yeah, you would never melee and then dash. That's never how you would do it. You dash in, feet, right click melee. I wouldn't worry about this being a crazy one-shot combo. This is like one of the most difficult combos in the entire game to accomplish and requires an incredible amount of risk. If we were to have any one-shot combo, this is fine. Well, yeah, you get locked in the dash animation, the melee animation, but, you know. Melee does 40 in the new buff. Yeah. So definitely going to be interesting with Genji. Yeah, Genji one-shot combo is very rare. Hanzo. Can't two-shot body shot anymore. Storm arrow buff is actually not all that much. Storm arrow damage significant, about the same, but cooldown decreased. One shot headshot on all 200 HP heroes gone. Ult, significant ult nerf. This is the key thing I think it's worth pointing out. Also, DPS passive doesn't really benefit. Yeah, I mean, obviously Mercy damage still does it, yeah. Because you got to think about like the time to kill with Dragon. How many times have you guys died to Dragon because you needed like 0.2 more seconds to get out of the way, or 0.3 seconds? No, his body shot does 120 clubs. 120, not 125 anymore. It doesn't one-shot 250 HP targets anymore.
I don't need this tip.
I don't see why you would play Hanzo over Sojourn.
Yeah, Hanzo. I'm interested to see how he's going to feel with the Storm Arrow, because the Storm Arrow cooldown nerf is a pretty big deal, because that keeps the ability pretty strong. You could argue that it's actually even slightly stronger than it was before, but his primary fire and his ult being bad is actually pretty crazy. Question is how much benefit projectile size? Because you guys have to remember this right here. He is going to receive bigger buffs to his hitbox. His hitbox and his bullet is going to get doubled. It's going to be sleep dart size. So everyone jokes about Hanzo logs, but he actually had, you guys can't see this, hang on. Hanzo had the smallest projectiles in the game. The smallest projectile in the game. And now
Zen is going to be so much fun to play again.
Thanks for the bits, mate. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But now it's huge. So we'll see. We will see. We have really no idea what the Hanzo double in size. So Hanzo could be bad, because a lot of things around him are bad. Like his ult is going to be worse. Two-shot body shot's going to feel really bad. But maybe it's just going to be that much easier to hit headshots, you know? I don't know. Wait and see. The rat. Projectile size nerfed. Okay, so this is what I'm unsure on. This says 0.2. Does that mean that everything got buffed by this? Are they reverting that with Junkrat? I'm actually not really sure. Right. So, okay, so it will be easier to hit Junkrat shots. Buffed, but less than you think. So it's going to be 0.35. I mean, it's still going to be massive. That graph is outdated. Okay. We're just using it as like a guideline. But is this before or after the changes? Like, you guys understand what I'm saying? Is it base projectile size? Is this before or after the changes? Okay. So it is getting buffed. It is getting buffed. We'll just put a question mark before or after. No conk buff, no trap buff, no tire buff. All of these are pretty significant. The question, as always, with jump, no splash damage buff either, from the hits. Is there still a one shot? Can you guys can still one shot, right? $120. 230. 230. No one shot. No one shot. That's actually huge. You know, the crucial thing with this one, okay, so this is actually, okay, let me put this in. Huge nerf to high level Junkrat. I'm like on the fence of this one. I don't like Junkrat one shot at all, but it's probably the one. Okay, let me cook. I don't like Junkrat. I don't like Junkrat. Again, you know, respectfully. But if you were going to nerf something about Junkrat, I think it would be the hitbox side. I think you should nerf this further and maybe can not leave the one shot. Man, Junkrat's going to be so dead, guys. The only skillful way to play him was like fishing for squishies. But now, like, he's going to be pretty good. He'll still be okay at spamming a choke, but his ability to duel is terrible. I don't know how I feel about that one. I don't know. I'm torn. I know you guys, Junkrat's a terrible character to meta, so I'm overall very happy, but it is the most skillful aspect of the character. So his ceiling is trash now.
I don't need this tip.
Good riddance. They should bury him.
Yeah, I
until
don't
they are
disagree,
willing
Hidden
to
Prior.
rework
I don't
him.
disagree. I don't disagree. Doesn't benefit from DPS passive really either. Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, one thing I will say. Where are we? Wait, you can't even two-tap with your weapon now. You can't even two-tap with your weapon. Ouch. So you can't even hit 2 directs and get the kill. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. There's just going to need to be some changes to how some of these characters work, you know? It's kind of like what they did with Pharah, you know? Yeah, okay. May. No primary fire buff. I mean, that's going to be huge. That's going to be huge. You talked about primary fire being, I mean, will there be? I assume there's no primary fire buff. Unsure on projectiles. I don't think she falls into the projectile category here. Maybe she does. Because technically she does have a travel time on her projectiles. But it's still so easy to land. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm unsure. Still can 2-shot. Breakpoints change with body shots. Body plus head doesn't kill. Blizzard, damage nerf. No one shot on Tracer. Blizzard, procs, DPS passive, useful. That's true. In some circumstances, that would be actually pretty interesting. You could a frozen target has the DPS passive procced on it, but I guess that's not really that important because you're going to be shooting the target anyway. Like, so who cares? Like, it's not like. Biggest beneficiary of the DPS passive? And I know way it's Mei. Because it's going to be even harder to. I don't know. I'm not so sold that the focusing tank is always good with Mei right now. And I'm even with the DPS passive, is that 100% going to be the case? Depends on the tank, maybe. Maybe. Pharah. You know, actually, give me a second, chat. Give me a second, chat. Give me one. Just give me just a gosh darn second here. Okay, let's keep going. Sorry, I'm trying to bump out my next session here so that we can keep going here. Okay, Pharah. More flexible mobility, benefits from new heal passive, explosion, self-damage reduced, so more movement options there. Fires faster and faster rockets. No damage buff on rockets, but okay given environment. No 2-tap with rockets. Am I correct, chat? It's 120, correct? That's pretty important. Even 2 directs will not kill somebody. Yes, 120. Crucial. So that like you guys are concerned about Pharah, but she can't even 2-tap you right now. More vulnerable to more heroes. Close range. Must touch grass to generate fuel. Feels like sort of cyclical dive character like Genji, Tracer, etc. Where it feels more like DPS passive from Splash, though. More conk options. Weaker boop. Does damage. Lower CD. Yeah, I think more movement with flight. I mean, yeah, Mercy Pharah is a lot harder to run. She can't fly in the air. The reason why you ran Mercy Pharah was not just because, oh, you know, Mercy Pharah busted. And But it's also because Pharah flew in a location where Mercy was safe. And now that's less likely to be. Mercy is traditionally bad with dive because it forces her to fly in positions where she's not safe. I think it's a good rework. It's certainly a good rework to start with right now. I don't know how strong the character is going to be, though. Yeah. Reaper. Yeah, I agree. The DPS passive is definitely something potentially good there with a little bit of splash from your conch and even just your rockets as well. Yeah, I think balance is something remaining to be seen, but the idea is there. Reaper. DPS passive application, really easy. Ha 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 ha. How time to kill significant. Mid opening up mid-range options. Ease of 1/2 shots. Unsure. The key thing with Reaper that you guys have to understand is that like Reaper is somebody that where even if he benefits a lot from the projectile change, it's the difference between 2-shotting or 1-shotting or 3-shotting and 2-shotting is really, 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 really important with Reaper. And if the HP increase doesn't like disproportionately, like for example, if I can't 1-shot anymore with Reaper or 2-shot anymore with Reaper, even with the projectile changes, we have to wait and see. Yes. DPS passive affected is self-healing. Should be. Yeah, so we'll see. It's really more important the breakpoints. The breakpoints are the crucial thing with Reaper and also huge Death Blossom is nerfed. More time to react, punish, etc. Death Blossom needed quick punishment. And now with the increase of global HP, it's going to be easier to react to Death Blossom, even if it is AoE DPS passive. I don't think that that's enough of a even with AoE DPS passive. I still think it's a bit of a nerf because you're going to have like an extra half a second to react to Death Blossom now. And Death Blossom is already kind of a weak ultimate, but yeah, if they're planning on reworking Reaper, then we'll wait and see. The question is, well, because maybe you do more damage with Death Blossom with the projectile changes. I don't know. Is it more time or is it less time? You know, like how I think the biggest thing for me is like. What I'm most unsure with is it's easy to think about like, oh, it'll be easier for Cassidy headshots. Like that processes my brain easily. It's when we see things like Roadhog and Diva and Reaper, a lot of these pellet characters, like these shotgun characters, I just don't know how much more their range is going to benefit from this. Because those characters are affected more by things like fall off and spread and stuff like that. I don't know how much better those characters. Wait, Death Blossom has consistent damage? No way. Really? You see, there's so much like, I'm so unsure on so many of these. Yeah, this is a huge nerf. You're right, guys. I'm an idiot. You're 100% right. How did I not know this? You're right. I forgot about that because it's the whole thing of like, yeah, of course, because the whole thing is that like if you stand behind a Rein shield, the more targets that are standing behind a Rein shield, the more damage it does. It's the same thing kind of like with the Cassidy thing. Not exactly the same. It's not at all. But like, you guys know what I'm saying? You're right. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a nerf. Sojourn. I mean, this one's obvious. Rail nerf, duh, but should be significant primary fire buff. Projectile hero, she's going to fall into this, I think. 0.1. I don't know if we have the sizes of her rail shots. 0.2 to 0.1. Oh, that's a railgun. Wait. But pretty big deal to that. Yes, but rail is easier to hit. Yes. There's no more one shot. Which means easier to farm a rail. And rail is easier to hit. Yeah, right. Disruptor shot, not buffed. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, this definitely feels like a nerf to like high level Sojourn in some ways. I mean, it depends. It's really hard to read because you're like, oh, she doesn't have that one shot anymore, but nobody really has that one shot anymore. It's just, but you're gonna be building the rail really quickly, I think. The question is the ult value, yeah. Like you guys, here's my take. Here's my take. Kind of like what we're saying here, where it's like, are these raw DPS ultimates nerfed by a lot? You know what I'm saying? Like these Death Blossoms, these overclocks, versus something like an EMP. Because not just the percentage of damage of EMP, but the cooldown lockout, you know, or a Symmetra wall, right? Right, or visor, tactical visor, right? I don't know. It's interesting. Are like a lot of these ultimates. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it still gets the buff. Yeah, it still gets the buff. Yeah. Soldier. Benefits from project size, obviously, but heal station nerfed. Healing. Rockets nerfed. Rocket no buff, basically nerfed. Visor significantly worse. Outside of maybe, no, it's worse. Because even if you aim your gun to get the headshots, like that's effort. Does this change how visor is used? No, I don't think so. I think visor is still used the same way. It's still a really good 1v1 tool, still good for zoning and stuff like that. It's still useful, but yeah, it's gonna be weaker. Well, even if the rockets are slightly larger, their damage is still the same, right? And I think landing a direct rocket was easier than landing a shot. Maybe not a direct rocket. Well, actually, I don't know. But did size get bigger? Yeah, because that's true. Because if helixes you can land direct, then that is a pretty big buff. but they weren't really particularly hard to hit. Here's what it's gonna be like. It's gonna be like you're gonna have like some crazy rocket hits more so than you used to. But like the easy 1v1s are gonna feel a little bit worse. Oh yeah, that's true. DPS passive useful. You know, heal passive useful. And that actually goes back to heal passive useful. Did we forget anybody else? Yeah, Sojourn as well. Heal passive useful. All these like soft mobile characters are all going to benefit from that. Five seconds is forever, but if it's a difference between you and have to not use your heal station while you're repositioning, yeah. Okay, this one is going to be absolutely succulent. Sombra. Wow. Huge benefit from EMP. Utility ult plus percentage damage. Huge benefit from damage projectile changes. No buff to virus damage, but should be easier to hit. Questions about spawn camping with virus already guaranteed. Is bullet buff that big? I actually think this might be a slight nerf to Sombra spawn camping. Wait, virus size was not buffed? Whoa. So Sombra should be slightly worse at spawn camping, I think. Where's the list of abilities excluded? Where is this? Is this the leaked patch notes? If so, screw it. I want to see them. I've avoided leaked patch notes for a while, but I think at this point we need to look at them. So spawn camping is going to be a little bit harder because the bullet changes definitely benefit her, but they also benefit the people that she's spawn camping. And if virus has not been buffed in any way, shape, and form, that was the largest percentage of the value of spawn camping. Okay. But I will say virus is DPS passive application and it's a DOT. So and it's how long is virus? Okay, check me out, chat. Check me out. Check me out. Wait, why did I do that? Virus. So non-hacked virus lasts for 4 seconds. So you could have a 6-second, DPS passive if you don't hack the target. So in some ways, you actually don't want to hack whoever you're shooting if you're going to be putting them for pressure for a while, because you want to keep the DPS passive proc for longer. Now, that doesn't necessarily... Usually the burst damage is going to be more important if you're going for a squishy, and if the target's worth hacking. But funny interactions with whether you want the sped hack virus or not for DPS passive. I think it's 2 seconds, Sam. But yeah, so I definitely think spawn camping is going to be a little bit worse. But EMP is going to be like so good. It's going to be the best DPS ultimate, I think, easily, if it wasn't already.
I don't need this.
Dang, now how am I supposed to take out my rage on Zen?
So, well, you could take out your rage on the entire enemy team by EMPing, applying a global DPS passive, locking them out of their abilities for 3 seconds. And what is it? 30% damage? 30% of their HP is gone? I mean, EMP, 25%. So EMP just got a huge direct and indirect buff. EMP is going to be monstrous. Yeah, Suzu cleanses the DPS passive. EMP is already an ult winning fight again, but now it's even more so. She's going to be a little bit worse at dueling, I think, though, which is, to me, a little bit worse at dueling with Virus. Kind of sad. I don't think this is the direction we wanted to go with Summer. Maybe that's just me, but I feel like I know the Summer rework was really controversial, and I don't like the spawn camping aspect of things. But I don't like seeing her starting to feel front loaded again back into EMP again. So I'm unsure. It's Summer's such a weird character, and this is why I think like when Questron talks about, was it Questron who's always talking about like the permanent invisibility? I think Questron's right, because I think when you have a character that has permanent invisibility, there is no way to make that character a duelist without making her a spawn camp character. There's no way to balance that. If you take away her permanent invisibility, then you can do that. But if you don't take away her permanent invisibility, then she will always be a spawn camp character. I think you need to take away her permanent invisibility and then allow her, shift her away from EMP and back into dueling again. Yeah, we'll be making a video on these notes. Give her a weaker gun to make a 1v1 more fair. But that's my point. Is you give her a weaker gun, she's worse at dueling. She's already these changes are going to make her worse at dueling because the Virus is not buffed. You can't have a character that's strong at dueling with permanent invisibility without the easiest value being spawn camping. The problem with spawn camping is that it's a 1v1 that doesn't like interact with you or your team at all. There's no way for your team to help you. There's no way for the enemy team to help that target. So it takes like a fundamental dynamic out of team play and just kind of removes it, I think. Yeah. And it is what it is. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. Symmetra. No beam damage buff. Hurts tank focus a lot, which is good. Did her projectiles get buffed? Did she get the Pharah treatment? No way she gets the Pharah treatment, right? Because that's going to be really broken. Well, actually, will it? Because Sim Orb it didn't get buffed. Ooh, Sim Orb, no buff. Damage also not buffed. Is Sim dead? No two-shot. This no turret buff. Ouchies, 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 ouchies. That's a huge Sim nerf. The beam width thing is sort of useful, but it's actually not that useful because it's still not a lot of DPS. Like, what is a DPS on tier 1 beam? It's not that high. It's not that high. Yeah, it's only 60 damage per second. So it's really quite bad. And even if it's easier to track, it's still gonna make like, oh man, over 4 seconds. Like, right, well, it's gonna tear up, but yeah. The Sim orbs were pretty big, but they didn't get buffed, and you can't two-shot people anymore. And also the turret damage is less. Wow, this is a huge Sim nerf. The only buff is a utility ult. Because the ult will still be good. No, I don't think so. She's able to W key easier with the level 3 beam. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It depends on what you're W keying on. Because you also have to think about it like every single squishy is going to be able to shoot her easier. And a lot of the tanks are going to have more damage as well. Right? Yeah. Very, very. I think definitely a nerf, but we'll have to wait and see. The orb changes are a huge nerf though. Symmetra in ranked is generally not very good at focusing tanks. In like mid plus ranks. I know how she's played in lower ranks, but that's because lower ranks are morons. No offense when it comes to Symmetra specifically. She's really squishy. So the way Symmetra was played in mid high ranks was mostly played like flanker. You 2-tap people with your orbs and you control angles and stuff. But being unable to 2-tap people and them being able to shoot you easier now and you not benefiting from that at all, like beam is not what you want to be doing with Symmetra. This is a huge nerf to high level Sim. This is a huge nerf. No 2-tap is the crucial one. Yeah. I'm not so sure how I feel about it. I'm not so sure. I enjoy Symmetra in some situations, but yeah. The turret damage passive, yeah, but that's not all that useful. I guess it's worth pointing out, but it's not. It's a relatively minor thing. But yes, the turrets do proc the DPS passive. Torb, turret proc, DPS passive. Ult nerfed, but does proc passive as well. Breakpoints lost. Body shot plus headshot. Questions regarding shotgun. No turret DPS increase. Actually garbage. What's the TLDR in the tank changes? I don't know. Lots of volatile things to be decided, to be honest. I'm more DPS passive is concerning, but we'll wait and see. The big thing with the Torb thing is that his turret damage just didn't go up. The turret HP increase is kind of meaningless because it's an easy thing to shoot, so you don't need to make it easier to shoot. It doesn't need more HP. It's already, you weren't going to miss shots in a turret. So who cares? But freaking Torb's turret damage is like garbage now. Like it's actually garbage. I think this is Torbjorn. I think this is anti-Torbjorn rhetoric, which again, I don't really care, frankly. I don't like Torbjorn that much as a character, especially with what they've done with him. But it's bad. Like Torbjorn, what was the damage of turret? Yeah, 11 damage, 4 rounds per second, like 44 DPS. That's not that much. And now that just got nerfed by 15 to 25%, essentially. Now it does proc the passive, which is sort of useful, but I think Torbjorn more than I think in theory, without concerning the overall ecosystem of like these changes, this feels like a nerf. This feels like a nerf. Also, yeah, no hammer buff, which is like relatively minor, but yeah, I guess we can put it on there. He's going to have a lot of HP, yeah, but he's also going to be so freaking easy to shoot. He's going to be so freaking easy to headshot. And he gets affected by the breakpoints just as much as you, I think. The Torb turret bullets had their projectile spice increase. True. I think this is an overall net nerf. The turret is significantly less useful, and he did not receive any serious changes besides that. The question is always how much is he going to benefit from the projectile size change? Tracer. Easy DPS passive. Breakpoints benefited. What is Tracer's pulse from? Is it 350, chat? Is it 350? So that's not really that important. Yeah, 355. Pulse is fine. still does the job, which is important. That's crucial. Is that a lot of the DPS ultimates have gotten worse. Tracer's is still basically the same. It's, I guess, technically slightly worse, but it's the Bastion interaction. It's going to be a little bit worse versus tanks. Little worse versus tanks, but it's going to be fine. Hitbox issues with new projectiles. Major question. Tracking easier, but hitbox worse. So this is the thing with Tracer. One clip potential plus melee buff. I actually am a little concerned about Tracer. I don't think she's going to be bad, but I don't think I think she's going to struggle the most maybe with the projectile size changes. One of the most, because Tracer was the character where movement, strafing, blinks, and so on was the most important. So how will you still be able to effectively strafe and move around bullets is the question. Yeah, you don't get one shot by some stuff as much, but like, are you just going to be so much easier to shoot? If you're top 500, but you're playing versus top 500s. Like people, when they shoot Tracer, usually miss by this much. And that much will be a hit now. I'm not honestly sure. I didn't forget passive. It's the first thing I put down. Are one clips totally gone? Are they? 12. $240. Yeah, it's headshots. No, the one shots aren't. Ones are gone. Yeah, she's fine. One clips are still there. 240 plus melee, all body shots. I think you're fine. My thing is more the movement with her. She definitely benefits from the spread herself, but it's a question. Melee does 40 damage on not 50. Okay, Widowmaker. DPS passive, doesn't really matter. Can still one shot full charge. Well, so can still one shot. Venomine is bad. Ult is fine. Ult's still gonna have like another one of those like utility ultimates is still gonna be fine. Yeah. Muscle memory totally changed. Quick shots. How good is SMG? Is I guess a pretty interesting question as well. Can Widow stand up to Sombra with the extra HP? No, I don't think so. The Venomine, the virus didn't really get buffed. 25 HP definitely matters, but Sombra's gonna be able to track you even easier. And I think it's pretty much the same. Am I missing anything here? Am I missing anything here? I mean, I guess you could Venomine on the choke and Venomine the tank or something like that for like how long is it? Like a 3 or 4 second or 5 or 6 seconds, excuse me. But yeah, that's pretty niche. Yeah, I mean it's whatever. But yeah, no, Venomite's not that good. Okay, overall, lots of nerfs to DPS ults. Lots of questions regarding value of DPS mobility. Oh, wait. Heal passive. I think somebody mentioned that. I forgot to put that in there. We need to go back here as well. Heal passive as well. Heal passive. Did I forget anybody else? Not really. Heal passive. Heal passive actually for a Widow as well. You know, the whole Nangle, wherever you want. Versus projectile sizes. Heal passive, very useful for DPS. Questions about breakpoints. Okay, support. Ana. I know Sleep Dart not changed. Breakpoints for kills, one more. 70 damage. Is it 75 damage? It's 70 damage, right, chat? They've been bouncing that one back and forth. 70, yeah. So that one's like nothing super significant there. Nano heal, less useful. I think all that's going to be noticed is we talked about like how the DPS passive, how does that affect these characters? For all the supports, it's going to be how useful is healing. These like burst heals especially. Made slightly less useful as inherent HP defensive cooldowns more valuable with more HP. Maybe I'm cooking with that one, but if you have like a 700 HP target that increases to 800 HP, the 60 damage splash in the anti-nade is not as, it's slightly less useful than just using a defensive cooldown. No, it's not easy to hit Sleep Dart. They did not increase that. Can I leak this form? Just look up form. I mean, yeah, sure. Self raw heal output of self nade reduced as well, but percentage gain more useful. Leaked patch notes said sleep is the same size. Leaked patch notes, which the leaked patch notes have been correct from what we know. I think it was the leaked patch notes, right? Is there anything else here? I think that's mostly it. Am I the only one that thinks of this, right? Think about it. Obviously, DPS passive that applies to DPS as well, but the percentage of the HP that you're going to be missing is slightly nerfed. And if the enemy shots are easier to land, that is important. Amplified healing increases in value. Did we not talk about that? Okay. Oh, yeah, true. Support passive. That's true. Which I think Ana was one of the most important ones to benefit from that support passive. Definitely one of the most important ones. Baptiste. Regen burst. Not as useful. Plus heals, of course. May benefit immensely from projectile size with DPS. Lamp is not that big of a deal because it's another immortality cooldown that doesn't really matter as much, and it's a percentage immortality cooldown as well. I know IG23 flex, but I've heard that it was specifically not buffed. I don't care if what they said. I heard it was specifically not buffed. I think this is it with Bat. Bat might be an easy one. Support passive useful, but not as useful. Yeah. I think Bap's about the same. Yeah, I agree. I think he'll benefit more from these projectile changes than a lot of the other supports. Maybe all of the supports, actually. Almost all the supports. But he's also hurt a little bit by the regen burst effectiveness. Does the DPS affect? Yes, I think it affects some vampirism. Brigitte. This is 2/7. This is a slightly disproportionate DPS increase according to HP. Flail increase to match, but no bash or whip shot buffs. I mean, this has to be a major nerf, no? This has to be a major nerf. So this was slightly buffed slightly more disproportional to the amount of HP that other targets are getting. So this is good. But she did not get her whip or her bash buffed at all. That's a big nerf. But Zim will be strong, which just means Brig is run, right? So we're going to get to that at the very end here. The last thing we'll do is we'll talk about like the holistic meta predictions, which might mean that some of these bad heroes are played just because of the synergy, but we'll get to that in a second. But I think the character itself won't be that strong. In terms of if you're swinging on a character and then bashing and whip shotting, it might be about the same amount of combo, but over extended fights with targets that are getting healed, or even just like the relevance of your poke, if you're hitting a whip on a Genji on an off angle or whatever, it's going to be slightly nerfed here, I think. So yeah, maybe easier to block projectiles now that they're bigger. I don't think that's that important. I think Brig is pretty selective with what she wants to block. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that that's big of an issue, but I might be wrong. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think this is she's worse at dueling. Frankly, definitely worse at dueling, which is kind of interesting. Idiai. Pylon, heal output, ult nerf, total damage not buffed, outburst. Wait, outburst was basically meaningless damage anyway, right, y'all? Like 10 damage or something like that. Am I correct? Yeah. So the same, pretty much meaningless, but yeah. That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, true. Breakpoint questions. We'll do this one as well. Because if she does 75 damage, headshot is 1.5, so that's 37.5, 112.5. 2 headshots don't kill anybody anymore. Right? Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, true. True. Yeah. I don't know. I don't like Iliari as a character. I think Iliari is a wildly overrated character in terms of her design. I find her very myopic, but I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel. I don't like Iliari. I don't like Iliari. I think she's overrated. Here we go. Projectile size of kunai base nerfed, implying still benefiting from buffs. Because again, it clarifies base. So unless they're saying that she is benefiting from the buffs that are happening, so still easier. Time to kill, breakpoints, very different. Yeah, so it's going to be bigger. It's going to be Mercy pistol size. Yeah. What is her headshot? Is it 110? $90, 112.5. So again, 2 times headshot doesn't kill. Here's what I'm wondering with these projectile changes. It's the same question with Tracer. What makes Kiriko obnoxious? She's so hard to shoot. Is she going to be disproportionately affected by that compared to other supports? Surely. Right? Surely. Like, I think the difference from going medium hard to easy, from hard to medium, I think hard to medium is a bigger change. No, it shouldn't contribute to Suzu's bonus healing because Suzu should cleanse DPS passive. Yes, I'll be making a video on this. The reason I'm streaming this is because I have to finish this stream, then I have to do a coaching session, and then I'm going to do a video where I break down every single one of these points all in a row. So, yeah. Does it matter if it's just going to be reapplied? Yeah, I mean, that's the real question. But at least for the burst heal itself, it'll apply fully. I think we're good. Life Weaver. Healbot. Oh dear. Ult less useful. Raw healing. but projectile size may open up more DPS potential. To me, the biggest question with Life Weaver is going to be 100% how much easier is it to do damage on non-tank characters. Because his HP is going to be insane. What is it going to be, 300? Or 275? Is it 225 right now? With the HP and the shields? Yeah, 225. So he's going to be 275. Plus dash. But remember, that's not a bad thing. He's already easier to shoot. So projectile changes? I don't know. I think the big thing with Life Weaver is how much damage can he do? You know? I'm not convinced that he'll be that great, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, Pull will still be okay because Pull is a utility. Same thing with Petal. Petal's easy to shoot, so Petal's still going to be good. Lucio. Certainly benefits from projectile changes. Strafing, tough. Easier to hit. Because remember, the whole thing with movement is harder to shoot. Lucio is one of those characters that benefits a lot from being harder to shoot. Now that he's easier to shoot, going from hard to medium, is that going to really hurt his survivability? Boop buff is huge. Opens up indirect value everywhere. Even tanks. It's not going to be good versus tanks, but it's going to be better versus tanks. And the damage value of Soundwave, good, but breakpoints. Actually, yeah, melee too. Whoops. So we'll have to wait and see. Movement lockout means that when you get booped, you lose control of your character for a brief period of time. So that you're going to lose control of your character for a longer period of time. Oh, yeah, support ult will be probably okay. The big question with Lucio is how hard is he going to get hurt by the projectile size buff? And if the answer is he's still hard to shoot, then he's gonna feel a lot better. I think Lucio will probably be at least a little bit better. Because he'll benefit from the projectile size buff, but he'll also suffer because he's a quick mover guy. Yeah. Okay, Mercy. Leave it to Skiesti to tell me. Healing output obviously nerfed. Res sympathetic recovery, unsure of how useful. Breakpoints with pocket, very interesting. But pocket suffers from DPS passive. What can somebody please tell me in like dumb terms what this means? Active duration and jump crouch cancel. Does that mean you get your GA back? 0.5 seconds faster after using a jump crouch cancel on your GA. That's what I figured. Okay, yeah. GA cooldown slightly lower effectively sooner after tech. Cool. Thank you. Oh yeah, true. Valk is easier to hit. Suffers because easier to hit. Overall nerfed because survivability was the value, not DPS output. Yeah, I mean, this is insane, guys. This is insane. I think this has to be a Mercy nerf. I think this has to be a Mercy nerf just from the last point alone. Because if you think about it, like, how is Mercy going to benefit from having fatter projectiles? More HP, though? Maybe. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't know. Yeah, maybe res is easier because more HP, already standing still, so no value. I don't know. I'm torn, guys. Hey, Jobby. Mogly, thank you for the sub. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, guys. I'm really not sure. I have no idea. I will admit ignorance. Moira. Secondary fire increased from 50 to 65, which is pretty significant. That's like a 30% increase. No, that is a 30% increase, which is disproportionate to the amount of gains that other ones are making. And the hitbox and the right click is bigger because, you know, just in case you couldn't hit it. Yeah, more time to kill is faster because most characters did not get a 30% increase of their HP. I mean, I don't think any character did. So, net buff to DPS output. How good is strafing movement with hero that doesn't need to anyway? Cole not buffed. Overall heal questions. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. DPS passive and dueling important. I'm not so convinced that Moira is that much better. The time to kill is maybe slightly faster. Well, no, wait a second. Damage orbed, not buffed. Wait a second. Are we sure that the time to kill is faster? Because remember, it's time to kill with Moira is orb plus primary fire. Primary fire was buffed disproportionately, slightly, but damage orb was not buffed at all. So actually, she's probably slightly worse. And she's easier to shoot, whereas this target acquisition radius doesn't help the Moira as much as the projectile buff helps the person doing the Moira, and DPS passive. Damage orb range was buffed. Where? You almost never use damage orb in a 1v1 though? Oh, no. 100% use damage orb in a 1v1 frequently. Target acquisition? That's secondary fire. That doesn't apply to orb, does it? If it does, then that's terrible patch notes. It says secondary fire. So, I mean, maybe you're right, but then there's no way the patch notes are ganking me like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, biotic grasp. Yeah. You guys, I'm getting cooked on my Twitch chat. Yeah, so no orb change. I think the time to kill will be slightly worse, and it will be slightly better to do a Moira, plus the DPS passive. You guys have to understand the DPS passive is a big deal. Let's say that you have 100 self-healing or 200 self-healing in a Moira 1v1. You're going to reduce that by 30, 40, 50, HP, which is not nothing, No, I know some Moiras you heal orb. Yeah, I know that. But like, I think in general, this is... Yeah, I think this is a slight Moira nerf. I think it's a slight Moira nerf, which I'm fine with. Moira,
I don't need this tip.
Delete him.
Delete him. These are the bits. Yeah. Projectile size. I do. Projectile size. My thoughts with Zen is if he's so fat already, then does he really care about the 80-80 strafing? Does he care about them being able to two-tap him? I mean, obviously it affects him. But if he's already almost impossible to miss anyway, I feel like this is potentially a buff to Zen here. Potentially a buff to Zen here. Being able to hit my shots easier versus your shots easier, I think I have a harder time shooting you than you shooting me. Yeah, definitely a trance nerf. Also no harm. Also harmony. Yeah, you could cleanse the passive with fade. That is true. Just the overall HP, like everyone's HP being higher, plus the DPS passive is going to make. Well, let me think. Healing in general is going to matter less, but if there's higher health pools, maybe trance is more consistent at. Well, maybe. But higher health pools means less concern of one shot through trance. Maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. Probably a net buff, yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's true. You're right. See, this is why I'm doing this on stream, because I need y'all's. I don't really know. It's hard to think of every scenario, and we've missed so many exceptions. I know, but I'm trying to get as much of this right. Yeah, true. Slight melee buff. I think Zen uses melee more than most supports, so he benefits from that as well. Yeah, Discord debuffs more useful. Slightly more useful. I assume. Ah, I'm being assaulted. Help me. I'm being assaulted. Surely they're gonna buff this 50%, so it would be 60 damage, and the Discord is what? 25, so 75 damage. Is Discord plus DPS passive stack? I mean, yeah, it's different debuffs entirely. Some breakpoints, of course, but I think that Zenyatta has never really been a character where the breakpoints are all that important. Personally, I think it's more about like raw, consistent pressure. I mean, breakpoints are obviously important, but like not as important. It's more about like consistent pressure with Zen. So I don't think that these breakpoints are going to bother him too much. Like not being able to headshot melee a Tracer is going to be, you know, you're going to miss that cool interaction. Oh, wait. Actually, you still can. You still can. You still can. You can still one-shot a Tracer with headshot melee. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, okay. Well, I think we're done here, right, guys? We need to go through and find out my meta predictions. My quote-unquote meta predictions. Okay, so let's go to our meta predictions here, and let's talk meta. Let me zoom this up a little bit more so we can look at this. Make sure that my face is not in the way either. Okay, so meta predictions. Here's how we do meta predictions here. If you guys don't know, first things first, there is no prediction. All right. Here's the thing: nobody is smart enough to know for sure exactly what's going to happen. Now, this isn't a Malga situation where it's pretty obvious that the character's just broken immediately. Nobody knows for sure 100% what's going to be broken, what's not going to be broken. There's so many variables, especially this update happening at once. What I am going to tell you is what to look for, okay? What to look for. First off, number one, are movers and shakers. And these are basically the OP and underpowered heroes from these patches. So right now, we could look through this and we're really, really curious on a lot of the tanks, but a lot of these heroes feel like, okay, how powerful is this character? How weak is this character? Is Zenyatta significantly better? So you're just going to look immediately for the characters that from the get-go, I don't even know who are going to be these characters, but from day one of practice, who immediately feels like pretty darn strong. And those characters are going to be meta-defining. Because what's going to happen is those are the characters... actually, we'll just remove this point here. Those are the characters that then affect synergies. So in other words, let's say that Zenyatta immediately feels really good because he benefits a lot from the bigger projectiles. He doesn't care about getting shot as much. His melee his trance was unaffected. The indirect value. Actually, let's invite this. Then you're going to see things like Brig, heroes that go well with the OP heroes. Like a character like Brig, who I think was objectively nerfed, might be still very popular because of her synergy with the popular DPS supports and tanks. You guys get what I'm saying? So who knows, right? Characters that go well with, we're just saying Zen, for example, because I think some of the Zen changes are pretty decent, but who knows, right? Then you need to move into breakpoints. What heroes were affected the most by the HP projectile changes? Things that we just can't really think. Like here's an example. How important is it that you cannot scope then unscope headshot with an Ashe and one-shot somebody? How important is it that you can still two-tap somebody with Cassidy? How important is it that a Hanzo with damage boost can still one-shot headshot? You know what I'm saying? So it's these breakpoints that we don't know the answer to just yet. And I think that remains to be seen because breakpoints really are a combination of multiple different things. You know what I'm saying? Like we really don't know yet. We really don't know. The last thing overall changes beyond just raw numbers. So what I mean by that is when you throw a character like, let me give you guys an example, JQ. With this new DPS passive, is that going to mean tanks without direct damage mitigation are going to be disproportionately nerfed? Is the DPS passive overall going to encourage more flanking from characters that otherwise would not be able to flank without some form of support? You get what I'm saying? Is the tank mirror going to be less attractive because the HP pools are so big and everybody can shoot squishies easier? And because when we can answer those questions with a little bit more confidence, we're going to have a pretty good idea of what the meta is going to look like. So these are the variables. First off, look for the most overpowered characters. Look for the characters that synergize with those characters. Look for the breakpoints that are going to change, and then look for the overall environment of these changes, because this is not just a buff and nerf patch. A lot of fundamentals of not how Overwatch is played, but how Overwatch feels is going to change. You get what I'm saying? Nerf to sustain meta, I expect. Probably right. More HP pools, but the healing has not been buffed proportionately, and everyone will be doing slightly more damage. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? That's huge, right? So we really don't know. So are raw heal characters like Baptiste going to feel worse? No, wait. Baptiste also might have benefited a lot from these breakpoints and the weapon changes, right? Was a large part of Kiriko's value consistent flank pressure, or was it the ability to two-tap? Because if it's the latter, she's going to be a lot worse. If it's the former, she's probably going to be stronger. How much will Kiriko suffer from having a fatter hitbox? Essentially a fatter hitbox. So I think these are just the questions that we have to ask. These are the questions that we have to ask. And the reason why I don't want to make meta predictions is because I think it's just a waste of time. I don't want to influence you guys with my opinion, because I think you just need to go out there with a completely open mind and just have fun with it. You know, first off, nobody knows. I'm not going to farm your money making a YouTube meta tier list just to get you guys to click when I don't know. Like that's just to me is scummy. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. I want you guys, I've raised a ton of questions for everyone's character. If you guys didn't see this, stay tuned for my YouTube video tomorrow. I'll farm your money off of that one. No, but I'll have timestamps for every single character, so you can just skip to your character and see what I say, like questions for your character. You can also go back in the Twitch stream today and you don't even have to watch the YouTube video, the Twitch stream today, and go back where we went over your character. And we will ask questions that need to be asked. Yeah, can you see Genji notes? Yes. There. Screenshot it. Tell you what, we'll spend the next 5 minutes. Is anyone who wants to see what notes? I'll save you guys the time from having to skim around. Just press print screen on your computer right now, or pause the stream right here. Time to kill for Blade goes down. Oof. That's... Oh my gosh, I immediately regret having to do it. Okay. There's so many. Oh no, I shouldn't have said anything. Chat, no. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to do one at a time. We're just going to save myself some time. I should not have asked. Okay, just pause the stream when you get there. I'll even zoom in just a wee bit so you guys can pause the stream easier. Diva, 3, 2, 1. Doomfist, 3, 2, 1. Bam, JQ. And Mauga, Arissa, and Ram. Ryan and Ram. Oh, wait, Ram. What am I doing? Ryan and Roadhog. Oh, yeah, I could just post it in Discord. What am I doing, guys? What am I doing? What is wrong with me? I am an idiot. Okay, look. Where should I put it? Where should I put it in my Discord? Where should I put it? How do I do it? Where should I put it in my Discord? Hammer time? I'll just do in best of Spilo. That's just the easiest place to do it. Here, hang on me a second. Desktop, Metapred. There you go. Holy mackerel. There you go. There you go. There it is. It's in there. You guys can go and look at it. You could it's just a TXT document. It might have a virus in it, but honestly, you guys are fine. You guys have antivirus, right? Right? That should be a problem, right? Probably won't download anything. Star is filth. I know who you are. I've known you for years, mate. But no, I'm not going to go through every single change. I'll do it in the video. I hope you're doing well, by the way. I remember watching your videos and getting ideas of coaching just from watching your videos. Hope you're doing well. TrojanMeta.txt. Yeah, so there you go. Why are you guys calling me Zaddy? I like this. I'm already having to delete messages in this. You guys should be ashamed of yourself. You're welcome. But yeah. When does this patch even come out? Tomorrow. Tomorrow, like 2 p.m. EST, like 3 hours ago, basically, around there. 3 hours ago, 24 hours from now. Yeah. Which is going to be really questionable. Stop clown reacting me and skull reacting me in my own Discord. Also, I guess now that we actually have people in here, if you're already in the Discord, remember there's lots of free coaching resources. I'll just subtle self-plug that, but it's free, so it's not really a self-plug. So yeah, there's lots of free coaching resources if you guys want in there. Free VOD reviews, but yeah. Plunger Gang Rise Up. I still think Plunger Gang is fun. I enjoy Plunger Gang. Thoughts on Overwatch? Wow, that's a deep question. I too am an Overwatch enjoyer. What are y'all's thoughts on Overwatch? My boy Junkrat is dead. I do think Junkrat will be weaker, I think. At least in higher levels, for sure. Because like the loss of the one shot is like, you could just spam down main for sure, but like, that's a big deal. Your coaching coming from the D5 to GM5. Hey, mate, congratulations. Well done. All right. Are the Doom bug fixes any good? I don't know. I've heard mixed things on them, to be honest with you. Yeah, I have to go in a second. I pushed it back a few minutes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, chat, I have to go. I will be back tomorrow. Loves and kisses. Stay tuned for the YouTube video. Probably be live tomorrow, right about when the patch drops. We will be live tomorrow, right around the time the patch drops to actually test stuff. I will toss a raid over to Absolucy. I don't know what that means. But they seem like they have a relatively decent stream and they're playing Ramattra. Loves and kisses. I'll see you guys tomorrow.